listening to
Ferrall.
On Fire. On Fire.
On Howard 101.
You gotta love it. Big Daddy Rich styling with Ferrall in the big city, hanging out in the Mad Hatter in the middle of it all, Manhattan. And he's styling in the Howard Tower. How you doing, Chuck Daly? You're looking great as always.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
You know, you were the slickest guy ever in the NBA, and they still try to emulate you. They're always copying your action, your vig, your aura, your style. You're just worldwide, Chuck. You had it all going. They're all jealous of you.
Didn't I say legend in my own mind? Something to that effect, right?
You're a legend in our minds, I can tell you that, and my fans. They love you in the Motown, Detroit Rock City. And, you know, you're a guy from Pennsylvania. I'm a guy from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was at Punxsutawney.
You got to live
the Greyhound. I coached there. Raised in Cade, St. Mary's, that area up in northwest PA.
That's
Loved
like
it.
putting one of your players in the hole, like that groundhog. You just put him in the hole it's like putting him on the bench, right? They don't let him play. And if the sun doesn't come out, everybody's screwed.
You're right. As long as they're not too good a player. Too good of players you don't keep in the hole.
Oh, man, I got to go back in time. Is that all right with you? I want to talk about some of the great players that you coached. Talk about Isaiah for a minute. To see him go from Bloomington to Detroit and to see him limping around against the Lakers, I think it was.
Yes.
What was that like to watch that kid come into his own, turn into a man, become a legend on the floor, a great point guard, just a badass? I mean, he played with heart and tenacious. He was just tenacious. He was nuts. And that team, it created that bad boys image, and it just grew like a tree.
Yeah, well, Isaiah is one of those guys gifted in many, many ways. Tough as nails, an assassin. I used to call him an assassin. And he is, I always felt, had he been 5 inches taller, might have been the greatest player we'd ever seen in the game.
Really?
And I love Jordan. I know how great he is. I know Kobe, Magic, and Bird. But this guy was pretty special with his size. I've seen him play with injuries that nobody even would show up at the arena. Ankles, fingers, needing surgery, putting surgery off. The night in L.A. That'll go down forever. You see it all the time on Classic.
Yeah, and it's worthy of that, Lou.
Well, the one thing I want to ask Coach is, 16 points in 91 seconds? Isaiah against the Knicks in the playoffs in the sweltering heat of Joe Louis Arena because...
I ruined another good suit.
The
air conditioner didn't work, and I mean, I've only seen it on, replays. I don't remember it live, but... 16, what was it like just sitting there watching that?
It was spectacular. I think the league, they pretty much deemed that as one of the top 10 games ever. You got to remember, Bernard King, we couldn't stop him either.
And the two dislocated fingers on each hand.
Yeah, exactly. It was a spectacular night. The interesting thing about that is kind of a sidebar, which you may know about, is that we played all year out in the Pontiac Silverdome. Well, they didn't plan that we were going to be in the playoffs, so they had to switch the playoffs to Cobo Arena, where we had never played before. And it was an all-new environment. That was one of the different things about it. Yeah. It was it was quite a history that was built up there. I went there, they'd won 37, 35 games, and I thought, geez, that coach, Scotty, did a pretty good job. My ass is out of here in about 2 years. I got 2 years and an option year. And so consequently, a lot of interesting things happened. A lot of things came together. When we added Sally and Rodman, that changed our destiny. We got two guys who could defend, rebound, block shots, and did not need the ball. When you get guys who can play long minutes, significantly contribute, and not need the ball, that becomes spectacular.
Hey, Chuck Daly's on a Ferrall show on Howard 101 on Sirius. Here what you've been missing. It's the best radio on radio. Now, you can go to talkaboutbph.com and see Chuck Daly on there. Earl the Pearl's involved with all of this, and really the game plan starts with you. We try to get all the dads to do it for Father's Day. And, it's important that guys get their dads to do it and guys do it. And, be a man about it. This is your future, your health, your family's at stake here. Your life's at stake here. It's a serious problem. I'm getting older. I notice that I have irregular symptoms sometimes of...
3-4 times a night.
Yeah, and then sometimes
you can't pass the John.
I'll go in spurts, where I have like a first period.
Morse code.
Halftime, third period, overtime. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I get a little of that going. There's nothing like when that thing starts shrinking.
You got it.
I'm worried about my liver, too. I stopped drinking, Chuck. I feel pretty good ever since I stopped drinking all that beer at the Pistons games. How about that rowdy crowd? And, I've seen so many great games there. I couldn't believe what happened that night in that arena. And you know what I'm talking about, that war that went down. That was sad for the league, and they'll never stop showing that and talking about it. And just bad timing for whoever was there. I mean, it happened to be those two teams, and those guys will have to live with that forever.
Yeah, and, we had a little incident this year, the situation with Steve Nash.
Right.
And, everybody's all upset about it, Barkley and all those guys. And I talked to he and Reggie, those guys were doing the show in the last Cleveland game and saying, well, you're old school. I said, I'm not old school. I've been involved in that sort of thing. I quit going out there, pal, because these guys are projectile missiles, 6'7", all muscle, one shot. And you can't allow that to happen. And guys react. And I think the commissioner was absolutely right. And you can make all the plays you want. We go back to the Steve Nash thing anyway. He got 11 people fired this year because everybody wants to play like him, and there's only one of them.
Right.
So all of the general managers and coaches say, get rid of these coaches because he doesn't play like, D'Antoni.
So you played college ball for the Bonnies? I
did. I went there on a scholarship. It was in the dark ages.
You got to love that.
Yeah, the Bonnies.
And you coached in Punxsutawney, high school ball. Absolutely. Is that where it all started?
Yeah, I got my first coaching job, Punxsutawney.
Unfortunately, you went to Duke. They got a lot of problems. They got corrupt DAs, soccer, lacrosse coaches being thrown into AA. They got bad lawyers. The basketball coach played for Knight, and he's a communist. I mean, what's gone wrong in Durham, Coach? Jesus.
It's coming on.
My dad went to Duke. I hate him, too. I love your career. When you got into Detroit and you got this team going and they became synonymous with their image of bad boys, what about Mahorn and Lane Beer? I think Lane Beer has been incredible the way he's gone into coaching women. I think it's great, and I think he'll eventually coach in the league. I think he'll be an NBA coach, and I think he's got the goods. Why do you think guys like Lane Beer and Abdul-Jabbar get stiffed by people because of their reputation or the way they played? No one will touch Abdul-Jabbar, and he's doing stuff with the Lakers, but he's been screwed over for every job known to man. What? Because he, who
knows? Who knows the reason why? I think he's had a number of opportunities. I don't know how badly he really wants to do it, because I'm going to tell you, because you're qualified to do the job and you were a great player, you got to really want the job, because it is one tough job.
Who's the best big man you ever saw play? Wilt? Was it Russell? Was it, Patrick Ewing? Was it, all these guys.
I love Wilt, and I love Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq's unbelievable.
It keeps going on, but everybody has to play. If you coach against them, you got to put 2.5, 3 guys.
Come on, it's not Bill Cartwright with them slow legs.
Well, I like Bill. I love his
game,
but his voice.
He's a good coach.
His voice. You got to get his voice.
He's got like some kind of thing going. He's like,
he's got a problem, voice problem.
What's that about?
I don't know.
They say I got a voice problem.
Maybe it's a BPH.
I made a lot of money off of that voice, Chuck. In fact, I got my.
How did you get this voice?
By getting my BPH checked. You do it right before the show.
Urexatrol.
The guy
takes it down, takes it up.
I'll never forget the guy when he did it to me. He said, "So you think the Steelers are going to beat the Seahawks?" I was like, Mother Mercy, in the name of the Father.
Bend over, Mr. Babar.
I'll tell you, Chuck Daly.
Oh, no, really, we don't need to. We don't want to do that.
Here you go, listen.
So, my kidneys feel a lot better in this position. Maybe it's just that I'm not doing any calisthenics. If I did some sit-ups in the morning or bent over like this, I'd probably feel 100% Moon River.
Chuck,
you ever serve time?
That was
my heart.
That was Chevy Chase and Fletch when he got his BPH check. Hey, you're the greatest coach I ever watched. I love you. Everyone else is copying you. You got style. You got class. You are one of the legends of the NBA, and it's a real honor for me to have you on my show. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Chuck Daly on the Ferrall Show on Howard 101. Check it out.
Scott Ferrall, only on Howard 101.